Good morning, folks. Welcome to my humble homestead in the forest. And today I'm here at my asparagus bed. I hope you can see the different sizes of this wonderful plant, vegetable, from where you are. I think I read that the name comes from the Greek, translating to sprout. Anyway, it's really good for many different things. The list is long. You can look it up. I'm trying to keep this video short and to the point, and that is that everything you really need to know. I mean, the beneficial aspects of it is good to know too, but the list is long. So look that up. There are herbal medicine books probably that you can find those in. But when you go to plant your asparagus, and if you haven't already done so before at a different time, maybe at a different location, what you need to know is that you have to dig a little hole in you, like a bowl, and you put it in, and then you're not really compacting it, like when you're planting a tree or a flower, and you kind of press down, and then if you come back in a few days, maybe after rainfall, and then you add more soil on top of that. It's a bit dewy today. We're expecting rain after a week not having rain. It's still end of tomorrow is the first day of June, and so but our soil is, because we built the soil ourselves, we built it up. Everything what you're seeing, the depth of this, at least a foot high, we built it up so we could put in what we needed for each bed, pH level, what nutrients you want to put into, minerals, whatever. But asparagus, most of the soil is looser, loamier, but asparagus, these are the facts that I want you to know, it takes, I would say, 3 years to get established. And I know it's easy for me to say don't harvest for the first year or second year or even third year. And when you see that you've made your bed, now you have to lie in it, and you put your plants in, you bought it, put your plants in, and year after year after year of no harvesting, are you insane? But the thing is that if you can, and I couldn't, okay, so I'm not judging, if you can, maybe, oh, I know, this is what you should do, this is what I will do now. This is how thoughts come to me. You make 2 beds, if you're making raised beds, or if you're not making raised beds, make 2 areas where one area you can harvest next year or the year after, or before the 3 years is up. Then the other bed or the other area, you can let it rest, let it stay for the 3 years plus. Really, it takes 7 years, I heard, before it's really established. And so the one that you're rushing, you can even compare the two, but the one that you can't wait to enjoy, then you can enjoy and then not touch the other one, and then you've got the best of the 2 worlds. But one reason it takes that long is that asparagus, if I remember correctly, its roots can go down. It's has one of the deepest roots. It can go down 20 feet. How can I tell you what 20 feet is? 20 feet. If this bed is 12 feet, and I don't know if you can tell from where you are, imagine twice as long as this bed. So from maybe if you can see the end of that bed, go all the way to that black currant bush. In fact, let me just walk over, and maybe you can just see how far I'm walking. Sort of like here. This is how far down it goes. And now you might be thinking, so what does that mean? What that means is that any plant like this or comfrey, that I have to show you that too one day, has deeper roots like that. It has access to all the nutrients and minerals that are deep in the ground that other plants don't have. And so it's good to actually even have them, even if it's like I mean, I don't know who couldn't use comfrey or even asparagus, but they bring these minerals and nutrients that are way down that nothing else can access, and they bring it up. So that's one thing that you really need to know, more than what its beneficial medicinal benefits are, because, or nutrient benefits if you're eating them, because before you get to that, you need to know the foundation of it, how to grow it. The other thing is that you might, from where you are, you might be able to see this really, I was going to say pencil thick, but it's almost more like straw thick, or thin one versus this one. If you're able to see, look how thick this is. When you're going to harvest for your supper or lunch or whatever, always go for the thinner ones first. This one, I mean, this is unusually thin. This is like a toothpick, so forget that. I mean thin like this. First, harvest those first, because although they get taller, which, by the way, they can grow 7 inches a day. 7 inches. 7 inches is about this much a day. So, although these will go taller, they're not necessarily going to be, they're not going to get any thicker. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll let these thin ones get thicker and I'll eat the big ones, it's actually the other way around. Eat these ones just because they will get taller, but they won't, be any substantial in terms of nutrients. Whereas the bigger ones will get taller, but they'll have more in them. They'll be juicier and more of the goodness that you want. They are also very, my understanding is that I haven't heard anyone say this, but they're very hungry in the way of, they need heavy feeding. What do I mean by heavy feeding? Like manure, like compost. And I'm going to be, I've mentioned in my other videos, using comfrey composted tea, which is good for fruiting, this might be considered, as opposed to, and then I'm going to give nettle composted tea to my leafy sort of plants, very high in nutrients and nitrogen fixing. And so also try to, if you can, and I mean, I don't know if you can, not boil these when you harvest them, because really not boil anything. If you, steaming is best, is an alternative to boiling, because you're not tearing the fibers apart and the stuff gets soaked into water. Woodpecker, unless you're going to be drinking that water. And as part of my zero waste, I always say, if you're going to be boiling anything, potatoes, whatever, don't throw that water out. If you have a compost bin, put in the compost. If you're making soup another day, put it in your soup. I mean, half of that nutrient, not half, some of the nutrients of that whatever you're boiling is gone into that water anyway. Why dump it down the drain? It's a waste. Some folks were asking how to harvest it. Where do you clip it or whatever? But the thing is that you don't need to clip it. It naturally, part of it, I'm hoping you can see, part of it as it goes up becomes woody lower down. And if you were to bend it, and I don't want to bend it too much, if you were to bend it, it would naturally break. It would naturally break on sort of a area where the woody, you can see these ones were snapped off like that. The woodiness starts, and the tender part of the shoot starts. Woody part ends or starts, whatever. You know what I mean. So it's easy. You don't have to try to guess. Is it here? Do I cut here? Do I cut here? Do I cut here? You just bend it and it'll snap wherever it wants to. You know that's where it is. I hope you give this a It does give you a particular odor, but it's just nothing. But if you're not used to it, if it's for the first time in the season you might think, oh, what's wrong with me? Nothing wrong with you. Same as for instance, like beetroots, where if you haven't had it for a while, you say, oh, what's going on with my poo? It's whatever. I'm probably too much information here, but I mean that's why you're here. Give this a try, and let me know if I've missed anything, any fascinating facts about it. I'm always up for fascinating facts about anything. Okay, I will let you go and enjoy the rest of this overcast day, which means rest day for me, relatively. I'm not doing any hard labor, but I still have to plant some stuff before the rain starts. Take good care, folks.